Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Packer Universe podcast. We're a Green Bay Packers fan podcast that brings you topical and relevant Packers news, along with our humble, subjective opinions. This is episode 241. We're recording this on a Tuesday, September 26th, 2023. The Packers win in the home opener at Lambeau Field against the New Orleans Saints. And the Pack looks quickly ahead to a short week to match up at home against the Lions on Thursday Night Football. I'm your host, Tay, and joining me on the comm links tonight is our one and only
Ren. What up, Tay? How you doing on a Tuesday night? We got a short week here as we prepare for the Lions coming into town Thursday night. That's my best lion roar. It's more like Simba, But as we prepare here, couple days, man. Thursday Night Football, kind of exciting. 2-2-1 teams coming in at the top of the NFC North. The Lions trying to take this thing over. We do know they've kind of taken it over from Matt LaFleur and the Packers over the last three meetings. The Packers are 0-3 against the Lions. They call them gritty. They call them tough. They call them come to play. It's the new look Lions, Tay. How you feeling today on a Tuesday night?
I'm feeling pretty good. We've got some things to talk about and discuss with the Packers with availability, of course, injury report. Maybe some players are going to be coming back to play Thursday night. So that's always interesting, and you anticipate that and kind of get your hopes up a little bit. So we'll check in with that, but I feel pretty good, coming off of that 18-17 win in our home opener against the Saints. It's I knew we were going to feel like this, Ren. We were kind of like, that was a win, right? Yeah, it was a win. And maybe we've I don't know if some of us have forgotten some of the mistakes and the kind of abomination that those first three quarters were. So yeah, let's go back a little bit, Ren, and just talk about this Saints game a little bit. Obviously, we had our first takeaway that we recorded on Sunday night. Go check that out if you haven't. We kind of lay our first reactions to the win all out in that podcast. But after a couple days, it's only been a couple days because of the short week, we turned this around again, Ren, and we're talking about the Lions. But with kind of looking back at the Saints, that was a little bit of a, I don't know, that wasn't necessarily an eye opener. It was a struggle, and I'm still on board with the sentiment of being okay with this a little bit, and this being a young team. They're most of them are in their early 20s. They've just got out of college. In any profession, if you want to pull back a little bit, looking at a young group of professionals, they're going to struggle. They have to find their way. They have to get this going somehow. They can't start, in sixth gear. They have to work their way up. So it's the job of the coaching staff to do that. And I think we're seeing that initial process. So I'm not upset yet. I'm not, throwing nachos on the floor and pizza at the TV screen yet. Not spilling my beers, not crying at it either. So I think yes, they were close to a loss there, but there were some really good things to take out of that fourth quarter. And I'm just like, okay, I'm rolling with it, Ren. And this team is young. I think they're going to get better. And if you look at it that way, you can be optimistic and you can have fun with this. So, I guess I want to hear some of your thoughts about the game still, and anything, I guess, different than what we had talked about on the first takeaway.
Well, I think obviously elation was the way to put my feelings, we did talk on the first take with, what a miraculous comeback, what a huge locker room boost that victory was for the Green Bay Packers. Jordan Love getting his first ever, fourth quarter comeback, does it in his first home game ever as a starting quarterback at Lambeau Field. What a way to do it. Pretty amazing. The offense was not great, through three quarters. I think one of the things that a lot of us maybe keyed on as fans was was the defense good enough? Well, let's be honest, Tay. The defense only gave up 10 points. Special teams gave up that huge touchdown to Rashid Shaheed, where nobody touched the guy. I mean, he was just, there wasn't anybody close. So you just, chalk that one up to a great play by him. He is a fantastic young guy, punt returner, kick returner in the NFL. And you give it to him, but the Packers only gave up 200 and some yards of total offense to the Saints today. So as much as we want to call for Joe Barry's head at times, the defense really was the reason they had an opportunity in the fourth quarter to come out and make this thing happen. And they did. And they pressed the Lions in that fourth quarter to very quick 3-and-outs that allowed the Packers to jump right back in this thing and inevitably take the lead. And no, they did not have, you want to see them, in that last drive, take this thing over. Obviously, Rashawn Gary took some stuff over throughout the course of that game, but there wasn't that moment where anybody on that defense took it over in the last drive for the Saints, because in reality, the defense let them move down the field and give the Saints the opportunity to win that football game. That's not something you want to see. You need, after your offense has done what they needed to do, got you up by one, you need somebody to make a play. And they didn't do that. Groupie made the play, and that was the miss wide right. So as well as the defense played throughout the course of the game, limiting this Saints team to, less than 300 yards of total offense, you got to make plays when it counts. And thankfully, again, we had to rely on, a rookie kicker to miss a kick. We haven't seen that yet with Anders Carlson.
No,
we got to be grateful to Anders being pretty much Mr. Automatic today through 3 games. I know he's been not your favorite pick to be the guy, but he's been nothing but, what we want to see as a rookie kicker.
It's true. It's true.
And there's probably going to be a miss or two coming. But think about that, Tay, when they are tied 17-17 and he's got to kick an extra point. And those extra points nowadays, Tay, are not gimmies, right? And the crowd is full throat and he's got pressure on him just to get him up by 1. And he does it. Again, so we haven't seen any issues with, Anders Carlson throughout the first 3 weeks. And we got to be really happy about that, given how much that can mean to this team throughout the course of the season. But again, circling back.
Oh, wait, Ren, do you think that that decision to go for 2 was we are winning this football game now, or was that I don't want Anders Carlson to kick the field goal, or the extra
field goal?
I'm sorry, the extra point. Did you what was that? What did you think?
Well, I heard that came down from somebody else and sent it to Matt, and they said, well, Matt even said, I think in some of his press stuff, that he didn't necessarily like the call, but it worked out, and he's glad it did.
He called it. How can he not I wasn't necessarily like it. What do you mean? He called that, didn't he?
Apparently there was some wrinkle. Somebody brought that in. Obviously, Samori Toure got that 2-point conversion. So, it is what it is, but it was a ballsy call, and it was either Matt didn't call it or didn't like the call on the field. It was one of those two.
Okay.
When it came down to it, remembering that as it was said on Monday, that's a day ago. Today, my old brain can't quite remember, but
today's Monday, Tuesday, yeah.
Today's Wednesday. It's Thursday.
Tuesday.
Tomorrow's a Saturday, and we got a game tomorrow night. No, it's in 2 nights. But again, that said, I think there are a lot of good things to take away from the defense, even though it looked so abysmal in that game, down 17-0. It was shades of, is this Packer team not real? And then, are they real? So again, we're kind of back to this square one. Is Jordan great? Is he not? We don't know. Again, I think he was 22 of 44 today for 200 and I want to say around 40 yards passing. Again, the completion percentage has got to get up there. There are a few drop balls, but he's he was missing some some passes, missed a big one to Musgrave. He's got to be able to hit in timing rhythm. LaFleur kind of excused that one with, and so did Luke, saying, based on the way the route's supposed to be run and where the ball was timed, X, Y, Z. But when it comes down to it, Jordan's got to hit those guys that are wide open. So he's got a lot of growth to go. But hey, again, we're 3 games into this. We expect some of this.
Yeah, exactly.
We talked about this game and games going into the season, how there's going to be a lot of growing pains with this young offense. And you saw that with a lot of these false starts. They're putting themselves in bad positions. That is the culmination of, the baby pack, some call it the brat pack, whatever you want to call them. They're going to have their moments where they're not on the same page and they're hurting their football team.
Yep. Yeah.
But they also don't know how to lose either, Tay. And that's the flip side of that coin. These young guys like Reed and Dontavian Wicks, they don't know any better. And then a lot of times what we saw in the fourth quarter is, they don't know any better, and they're going to go ball out with Jordan and win a game. And that's a really fun thing to do when you see guys like, especially not having Watson available through 3 games this season, and basically he hasn't played in a month. Aaron Jones hasn't played, and it'll be 3 weeks come Thursday. They're missing massive compliments, and yet they're doing so much with so much young talent. And that has to make us feel pretty good about where things can go moving forward. So I was going to say there's a lot of ugliness with this football team in Atlanta, losing that football game through those 3 quarters against the Saints. But there's a lot of beautiful, amazing things to take from them as well, with how young they are and gelling together as quick, I think, as maybe in some respects, Tay, when you look at that we didn't even expect. I mean, had the Packers hit on another massive second round wide receiver talent in Jaden Reed, he's been everything that's been advertised and more. I mean, he's been incredible, Tay, in open space. So, there's a lot of warts in that game, but there's also a lot of really great things to be super appreciative that allow them to do what they did Sunday and potentially give them, again, the Packers have lost 3 in a row to the Lions, but all these rookies, Tay, they don't know that. They're just balling out together. Mm-hmm. This is just a team coalescing and, getting better together week to week. And that bleeds a lot of promise.
Yeah, we're watching it happen before our eyes, and that's why I'm optimistic about it and not upset about the bad play. I mean, you're going to have that. Like, the penalties were an issue the whole game until it wasn't, and then until it all came together. You were talking about Jordan Love, and I think he's still playing good. I think, maybe the stats aren't there, maybe the long balls aren't there, but I think he'll learn into that. He'll get experience and he'll practice that, and that can happen. I mean, you can argue that you can either throw the long ball or you can't, but I think the accuracy may take a little bit to get used to. And I'm optimistic about that aspect of Jordan Love, but for the most part, I mean, we're getting like everything we wanted out of this guy. He's composed. He's making some mistakes here and there, but he's managing the game, doing what he's supposed to be doing. He had that one interception that looked kind of bad, but how many interceptions did Brett Favre throw? Like a ton. So I think what we're seeing out of Jordan Love is very, very positive, and I'm not worried about those long throws. I just want him to manage the game like he's managing, and then to see him in the fourth quarter get fired up and pumped. That's what we were missing this whole time. These last 3 years, we didn't see any emotion out of this guy, because he either wasn't on the field or that just he wasn't, he didn't kind of form into that. But now we saw it, and I think the dudes on that team rallied around him, and they're kind of saying, this is what we were seeing in practice, everybody else. Like, so, you should get on board too, because this is what we're trying to tell you about Jordan Love. He is the guy. And, still for me, and maybe for you, Ren, if you want to chime in, that the jury's still out a little bit, but those are positive signs. Those are, the needle's going in the right direction for that. So that was great to see Jordan do that. But yeah, and the injuries, like we're talking about the defense not being able to do some things. We're talking about the offense not being able to do some things. The injuries were happening for us this past week. We had a bunch of high profile players out, but we still got the job done, and that's very, very, very positive. When it comes to Watson, I mean, yeah, we haven't seen him in a month, and I guess I'm going to say it now. I think Romeo Dobbs is kind of he's not getting the love I think he deserves here. In my opinion, Ren, he's wide receiver one. Until Watson can come out there and overtake his production and the clutch catches that Romeo's making, yeah, he might have the explosive plays and stuff, but look at the performance by Dobbs in that fourth quarter too. Like yeah, the young guys Wicks and Reed, they were spectacular because they're young and they got it done. But Romeo in his second year, I think he's the unsung hero here on the offense, especially with Aaron Jones out, Watson gone. Right now, that dude is a stud, and I love me some Romeo, and I think we need to be shouting some praise on him. I see all in the 2 weeks prior to this game, Jordan Love is without his number one wide receiver. It's like, hold the phone here. Like, how did that happen? Because he was drafted before Romeo Dobbs. I think literally that's all you can really say, because Romeo Dobbs has clearly been on the field more and he's had more production and he's been clutch. I mean, this guy's an all-around receiver. So I want to see more love for Romeo. And Watson kind of, for me, needs to kind of step it up and prove it once he gets on the field.
Okay, I agree with a lot of what you said there. I mean, Romeo has been that connectivity piece, that blanket, that Jordan has when he needs it. They're developing that pseudo back shoulder thing that Aaron and Devonta had, that Aaron and Jordy had. And no, am I comparing it to that directly? I'm not. But they really do. There's that piece, that reliability piece between the two of them. That's massive already, Tay. But I will, again, when you look at what Wicks coming in, having not done hardly anything in the preseason, Tay, we knew the talent, we know the speed, and then Jaden Reed being able to create an open space is phenomenal. And then, hey, we're going to go out and add Christian Watson to this mix, Tay. What is that going to do to really open this thing up? And mind you, there's also a guy named Samari Toure on this team. I think there's an embarrassment of riches, Tay. I mean, this team, Jordan's got a lot of options. And then, oh, by the way, there's this guy, number 33, who's probably going to play Thursday night. You throw him back in the mix and what he can do in the open field, not just running the football, with the full complement of all these guys we just talked about. My goodness, Tay. I mean, what did the Green Bay Packers do to rebuild this offensive room and all the options Jordan Love has to go with the football? Lucas Musgrave had a pretty nice game as well today. It's a nice place to be, and this thing can only get more interesting as far as the play calling going from LaFleur and Jordan having the complement of all these playmakers on the field together. I don't know, man. The Lions, be ready.
I know.
Because one of the places they have not done so well and did not do so well, they allowed 8 players against the Falcons to get 10 or more receiving yards. So they do give up plays for wide receivers. That's about the only thing they don't do well. But goodness, they're going to have their hands full come Thursday night when I believe the Packers are finally today going to this mini bye, going to have the full complement of playmakers on the field.
Mm-hmm. Before we get too far into the Lions' den, Ren, I wanted to bring up one name and see what you thought about it. There was times in the, I think predominantly third quarter, where you saw Patrick Taylor come in for a whole series and everyone was like, huh? Question mark? It crossed everyone's mind that was paying attention. Like, holy crap. Are they trying something new here? Did they need to sit AJ Dillon out for a little while because he sucks right now? And did are they giving him a chance? I mean, most of his production though was in receiving yards, but still, it's like he was out there and he was catching swing passes and stuff. He only ran it 3 times for 6 yards. However, he was on the field for that whole drive. I think they were either testing him out or letting AJ reset or something. But I don't know. You got anything to say about that peculiar situation here?
Yeah, Tay. I mean, Taylor really does know how to pass block, Tay. And run block a little bit. So this guy, he can do some things for you that I think at this point in time, unfortunately, AJ Dillon does not bring to the table. AJ Dillon is not a good pass catcher. It seems like Taylor is the guy moving forward that really should be your two. AJ Dillon, we've experimented with us through, the first 3 weeks of the season. He's not it today. He's not going to be it. He's not going to be on the team in 2024. So yeah, give it to a guy who literally has put in the work. He plays really well on special teams. And again, it gives you an added element with not just running the football, but catching the football and potentially putting him in positions to run different routes out of that tree that AJ Dillon just can't do, Tay.
Yeah, right, right.
Taylor can pick up a blitz as a pass blocker. He just does it better. So why continue with the AJ Dillon experiment if it's not working? So what? AJ is a fan favorite. We all love AJ Dillon, the person. But this is football. This is not who we love most, who is, our favorite person. This is about football games, putting the best guys out there on the field in position to win and do the best things for you. And at this point, yeah, you're right, man. I mean, you brought up the quizzical question, but Patrick Taylor he's the dude over AJ Dillon, man. No doubt about it.
And let's sprinkle in a little Emmanuel Wilson talk. He had 2 rushes for 6 yards, also a underwhelming performance. And you got to wonder, well, he had 1 catch for 6 yards. You got to wonder if he's not performing as they thought, and he might see a cut, or maybe they look at him later by putting him on the practice squad and giving him a little bit more time to kind of develop or learn the system or get better. But don't be surprised if you see a move for Emmanuel Wilson and you see Taylor, who has been elevated from the practice squad 3 times already. So,
which means he's got to be on the 53-man roster.
Yeah, which they could either say, okay, look, we're doing it. Patrick's in, Emmanuel, we cut him. Hopefully he makes waivers, and then we can put him on the practice squad. But yeah, I think you got to. I think you got to make a move to either put pressure on AJ Dillon or just say, you know what, we got this guy who can do more things than you right now. So we're going to. He's our RB2, and I think most of Packer Universe would be okay with that because we all kind of feel the same way, I think. And yeah, we love AJ Dillon, but maybe it is not the time right now, and he's just got to do something different. But and maybe it's the coaching staff putting AJ Dillon in those situations where can be productive and effective, but I don't know what that is. I feel like we've kind of tried that.
Say AJ Dillon's just not effective.
Right.
He's effective. He's effective at being likable.
Yes.
But on a football field, maybe not so much.
Trade deadline? What? Question mark? What?
I don't know how much trade value the guy has.
I know. You can only...
Again, we wish AJ the best, but I don't think in 3 years this guy's even in the NFL today, to be honest. I just don't think a guy like Jamal Williams, yeah, he's a complimentary back, maybe a third back on a roster that gives you a lot of fun, and he can go smash you a couple times and get you 80 yards in a game in a pinch. But AJ Dillon at this point in his career doesn't give me those vibes, today.
Just a quick game shout out to Rashawn Gary. He was an absolute beast, including those 3 sacks, but that dude was effective and totally helped us out and put us in position to get the Saints off the field. So give it up for them or for him. And I'm not too worried about this defense, and I don't know. We'll see if the players play better than the scheme. We'll be okay. Joe Barry still, the question marks are not leaving over his head yet. I think we all kind of suspect, that he might be gone mid-season or later, but I don't know. Like you said, maybe it's not all his fault without having all the weapons and people being out for injury. But we'll see. I don't know. I think it would take another total just dip in the defense to put the focus back on Barry. I think a good test will be Thursday night, Ren, because the Lions do have some good offensive weapons. So maybe that's a good segue into the Lions game. But yes, they definitely have some weapons, and I think our obviously linebackers and secondary will be put to the test here. So I guess I'll give you a quick chance. Anything more about the Saints or anything in between that you want to bring up before we get to the Lions?
Not really, Tay. I do want to just touch on your Rashawn Gary piece.
Yeah.
So Rashawn Gary is in his contract year. He came back from, a major injury just about as fast, I think, as
11 months ago, I think.
I don't even think it was that. I think it was 9 months, Tay. Similarly, Adrian Peterson, he came back in 9 months. No, has he played full complements of snaps? No, Tay, but he played, on 50% of his snaps, Tay, on Sunday. He had sacks or pressures again in his limited time. I mean, it's been incredible. And based on where contracts are looking at, and the Packers, I would guess, already working on getting this done before the season ends, somewhere mid-season. The Packers like to use
they love that
big extensions with an important cog to the team mid-season. Get it done, so they don't have to worry about it come the end of the season. He's looking at about, a 4-year, $110 million contract. You're talking about $26, $27 million a year. That's where this thing's going to fall. How do you feel about that?
Right now, it's hard to deny the man. And you got to think he has at least 2 more years, if not upwards of 4 more years of good production. He's young. Yes, he's had the injury, but the man has come back and played so tough, and he's been so instrumental in keeping us alive in games that I guess I don't see that stopping or ending anytime soon. I think you got to pay the man, and I think we got to work it out. And I love the in-season signings. I think the last one that I remember that was totally effective was the Devontae Adams one, where we paid the man, and then prices rose the year after and the year after that. We got in while the getting was good, so hopefully that's what we do with Rashawn Gary.
There's a David Bakhtiari one as well.
Yeah.
Who? How did that work out?
Yeah,
David. We hope he's out there on the grass come 2 days from now, Tay. But I think Rashawn Gary, Tay. Yeah, I mean, you think a couple of years? This guy's in his prime, Tay. I mean, those 4 years, you can get prime play. This guy's going to make that contract worth it based on his ethic and get one more. Now, that second contract, year 3, 4 in it, who knows? But Clay Matthews, when you go back and look at his contracts, and Clay put up some really big numbers. We're talking like, 12, 14, 15, 16, 11 sack years in a row. So that was the Claymaker who always had hamstring issues, always, and still put up numbers like that. And he put them up for like 6, 7 years in a row, Tay. This is a guy wearing the same number as the Claymaker. I think Rashawn Gary is just hitting it, Tay. He is ready to get it done. He's got the work ethic of nobody else in the NFL. Pay the man, get it done now. Give him his, triple-digit figure and move on. Because this guy's going to put up double-digit sack seasons 4, 5, 6 years in a row.
I hope so. I can't wait. I think it's just a force to be reckoned with for years to come. And if he's on the Packers, it's just so awesome. So I love it when we have defensive just juggernauts. I love it. It's so fun. It's fun when the Claymaker was on. I was here. and some other guys that you're just like, I love when the defense takes the ball or it gets on the field and it's their turn, and then you can root for these guys. And Rashawn's that guy. You're like, okay, he's lined up. Let's go. Like, let's watch him. I love this. And there's a few of those guys now on defense, and it makes it so much more fun to watch and it's so much more exciting. Plus, you have that in the back of your mind, like they can take care of business, and that just is kind of like the cherry on top.
Absolutely.
So Gary's listed as limited participation on the Tuesday injury report. Of course, he probably will be that for a long time. I guess the guys of note are Bakhtiari, Devondre Campbell, and Elton Jenkins did not participate. Those guys are probably not going to play. I don't know the severity of Devondre Campbell's injuries. His ankle injury, I don't know the details on that exactly, but I would guess that he does not play. But I think everybody else, is going to show up. I think you got Jair back. You have obviously Aaron Jones. I think we get Christian Watson back. Zach Thomas, the other one, not sure about. He's limited, so we'll see. But I think we're going to get most of these guys back on Thursday, Ren. I think that was kind of their plan. I don't think they were giving up on the Saints game, but they were like, well, let's just. I think maybe the Lions game is more important to them being in the in the NFC North. So maybe they did that on purpose. We get a bunch of time off after this game. I think we play after the Lions game. We play one game in like just over 3 weeks. So I think you push them to get back on Thursday. You play your heart out, try to get the win against the Lions, and then you just try to rest up for 3 weeks. So I would see most of these guys back. But if you want to comment on the injury report, or do you know anything about Devondre Campbell's ankle injury?
No, Devondre's been a little bit, per what I've not heard, say, kind of a mystery with that. Obviously, we knew coming into the season he was a little banged up as well. I assume it's the same thing. It's just a kind of culmination of that. Veteran guy, something that's not completely healed up. Probably not going to play, like you mentioned. Isaiah McDuffie, going to probably see a lot of him on Thursday night. Played decent in his relief against the Saints. So Isaiah can play okay in a pinch. He's certainly not the same guy that Devondre Campbell is, Tay. Not just with the play, but the leadership as well. Obviously, a lot of really good news today on Tuesday's injury report. And that was, I mean, you kind of talked to it, that Christian Watson, Jair, Zach Tom, and Carrington Valentine all went from did not practice on Monday to limited on Tuesday. Looks like Aaron Jones is ready to go. I think the big question mark is David Bakhtiari. We know that he does not play and does not practice typically. These weeks and these short weeks, as Matt likes to call it, they're really, when they get together, yes, they have practice. I'm doing air quotes here. Nobody can see that, Tay. But it's really in between the ears stuff, as they say in these short weeks. They don't do a lot of physical practice. It's all about getting your head right, knowing where to be, getting the playbook ready. There's not a lot of direct, overexertion through these days leading up to this game. They just expect guys, hey, get your head ready, get your body ready as far as rest is concerned. Let's go Thursday night. So I'll be really interested to see if David plays on Thursday night. I think he should, if he's feeling okay. If not, just only kind of okay, not okay. Even if he's there, I think he should go. Based on him being a gamer, we know he can game. And then he's got another 10 days off. Then they got a game against the Raiders, and then they got a bye. I mean, really, it's all hands on deck because of the mini bye, and then you go play a team in Las Vegas who's not very good, has a lot of issues themselves. You can maybe you want to have your full complement. You're absolutely right, Jay. This is the North, man. Let's go try to get ahead of it and then get another win. Look what position you're going into with a bye and get some good rest. I mean, I think they kind of gave some guys some extra rest that they didn't necessarily need to going to the Saints, but they played their cards right. It worked out. Let's go get it.
Yep. So let's turn to the Lions. They are 2-1 also, and we are 2-1. They just played the Falcons, who we lost to last week. So, they're playing really good football, and you have to take them seriously now. Obviously, you mentioned way earlier we've lost the last 3 to them. I think it was that one year when we never led them in a game, but we kicked like 2 last-minute field goals in each of the games to win it. That was like the year before we started losing to them. So this has changed now. We've never really had good luck going into Detroit ever in playing, and then we're gonna do that again on Thanksgiving. But this is a team that's becoming a problem, I think, for the Packers. They love it, probably. We like to hate it, and we love to hate it because it's always that thorn in our side. Like, we're probably gonna lose at least one of those Detroit games, before the season starts. We just know it's gonna happen. And why is that? I don't know. They seem to get our number every year. Is it because we overlook them, because we don't take them seriously? I don't know, but legitimately now they're better, and we do have to watch out. Jared Goff has greatly improved from what either our perception was or what you thought about him, and they've got some complimentary, wide receivers now. They've got a great rookie tight end in Laporta, and I don't know. I think you guys. I think they're gonna be tough, and I think this. I think we expected that, of course, but I still think the Packers do have a chance here at home on a short week. I think they do have the advantage. Me personally, I think that, and so I'm looking forward to an all-out fight. You see from the Saints game that the Packers can be kind of put down, beat down, but they can come back and they can stand up and put up a fight towards the end. So I love that. I think that's definitely possible in all aspects and all forms now. The game is on. I think the Packers can kind of do that at any moment. They needed to do it at the end of the game, and they did against the Saints. But I'm looking for kind of like a beat 'em up fight here on Thursday night, and hopefully this Thursday night matchup is a good one, and that finally people tune in and see the Packers, see the Detroit Lions put up a good fight with each other. So yeah, I don't know. Like, take us through it. What you have, Ren, about the Lions? Got any dope sheet stats or any highlight players on that side of the ball?
Tell you what. I mean, it's funny. I mean, we get to this new look of the Lions looking for their first NFC North title. In fact, it'll be their first NFC Central title since 1993 if they are able to finally get over the hump. But they've been a thorn in the Packers side even when they were awful, say. But this is a team that just beat the Falcons, who beat the Packers, and they laid it out. They did have a disappointing loss against the Seattle Seahawks the week before after their big surprise opener against the Chiefs week 1. Atlanta only gained 183 yards of total offense today against the Lions. The Lions had 7 sacks today. They only allowed 2.2 yards per carry today against the Falcons. That's crazy.
Well, that could be Detroit, because they watched us, right? Then they said, okay, they are a running team. We got to stop it.
Yeah, well, they stopped it and then some. I mean, I could tell you the stats on Bijan here in a minute, but it wasn't good for Bijan. I think he had like 11 for 33 today. They crushed his ass. I mean, they had 102 receiving yards from Amon-Ra St. Brown, who we know has been just electric from the outside in the slot. They've just had an amazing. I'm going to talk about it more. Sam Laporta has been all that and then some. They went from one Iowa tight end today, that being Hawkinson, to now Sam Laporta. They got really old, but young tight end out of Iowa and Hawkinson, and brought in a new one. And he's even better today. It's been crazy what he's been doing, actually setting NFL rookie tight end records through his first 3 weeks. 80 yards rushing from Jahmyr Gibbs, who's been just a phenomenal player. We talked about Bijan. This is the same type of talent they're going to face on Thursday. As far as, I just mentioned, 7 sacks on the day today. Aiden Hutchinson, we saw what he did against Aaron Rodgers last year. He had 2 sacks and 2 passes defended. I think Bijan's total was against the Lions 33 yards on 10 carries. So I was just about right there, finished at a total of 60 yards. Basically, the Lions just dominated the line of scrimmage day. They didn't give up a touchdown, only 6 points to the Falcons. They're just been darn good today. The Lions, where they really, really get after it, is at those lines of scrimmage. Their offensive line is very good. Their defensive line is very good. Their secondary is also good. They are just every adjective you want to use. The Dan Campbell gritty, blue collar, get after it, punch you in the mouth, play in the dirt. That's this new look Lions, and Dan Campbell's brought that identity to this football team. You got to give it to him, man. I mean, he really, they bought into his coaching and his ideals there. And listen, this team looks pretty good. Where I'll say, Tay, where they've done really well. I mean, you look at their 2023 draft, Tay, the guys they took in the aforementioned Gibbs. They also took the aforementioned Sam Laporta. And then Brian Branch, the safety out of Alabama, has just been amazing, Tay. He earned the number one spot on Jason McCourty's weekly defensive back rankings entering week 4 of the 2023 season. He's just been lights out, Tay. This is a guy, people thought, is he going to be good? Is he not going to be good, as far as a safety talent? But you know what? He's been everything and then some as far as Brian Branch is concerned. He was taken 45th overall in the 2023 draft. He's through this season, Tay, 3 tackles for loss, 11 total tackles, and 2 pass breakups just in week 3 alone against the Falcons. Again, a big reason why the secondary is doing so well, shutting down that short passing game against any opponent. You got to know where number 32 is at all times. He's been phenomenal today. We talked about adding an amazing stud they did the year prior in Aiden Hutchinson. Now you go out and get a safety. What the Packers needed, could have had him there. He's there for the Packers to take. He's been amazing, Tay. They have all these offensive playmakers now that they just haven't had in years. And they have Jared Goff commanding this offense, doing just what he needs to do. I know some people call Jordan Love the Jared Goff, but with better athleticism talent. So Jared Goff, listen, he was kind of a throwaway from the Rams when they went and got Matt Stafford. People thought he wouldn't do much, but you know what? He's really, I think, evolved into a game manager plus type of quarterback in the NFL. I would say the Lions fans should be pretty happy with what they have there. Going back to Laporta today, became the first rookie tight end in NFL history to tally 5 catches in each of his first 3 games. Week 5 catches, 39 yards. Week 2, 5 for 63. And last week, 8 catches for 84 yards and a touchdown. I know the Lions, they're going to come in on a short week as well. Their left tackle, a la David Bakhtiari, Taylor Decker, has been banged up, missing the last 2 games due to high ankle sprain. He said, basically, I'm going to play Thursday. It's going to hurt. I don't care. This matchup means too much to me. So I hope Bach hears that and says, you know what? Hell with it. I'm playing too. But they got other guys who are important to them that are going to be out probably with their guard, Halapatuli Batai. You go that one on the Nite. Center Frank Ragnow, who remembers the dark days in Detroit. He's been out on veteran rest. He's got a toe injury, and then offensive tackle Matt Nelson. So they are banged up up front. So if there's a place, maybe the Packers can get after it, get this Detroit offense a little off kilter. That offensive line may be in a little tough shape come Thursday night on the short week as well. Kirby Joseph, safety, David Montgomery, their other running back they brought in from Chicago, and guard Jonah Jackson. They were limited, but all expect to play. But this Detroit team, Tay, they just go out and game, man. And they've got just talent all over the football. And, yeah, they buy into their coach's mindset, and that is just to go smash in the mouth, play football. And I think they want nothing more than to beat the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau Thursday night. Listen, they came in the final game of the Aaron Rodgers era in Green Bay with a playoff spot on the line and punched them straight in the mouth. So the one good thing working in our favor is there's a lot of rookies who don't know any better and didn't deal with them. And that's what we got going Thursday night.
Yeah, I think when you look at the stats too, majority of them go the Lions' way. That doesn't necessarily have to be a factor in this, but that just points out the fact that they're doing well. The Detroit Lions are a good team right now. Hopefully not on Thursday. I guess it's hard to be scared of Jared Goff. Just from history, you just kind of like, don't worry about him. But now I think you really have to take him seriously. He does make good decisions. David Montgomery, I think he's on the injury list.
He is, Tay, but he's not. He's expected to play.
Yeah. So, they've got some running backs. I'm not really sure. I don't really think they're a huge threat, but you got to watch out for that. Their receiving core, I think, yes. I think that's going to put some pressure on the Packers defensive group there. So hopefully the defensive line that the Packers have can get to Jared Goff and disrupt him. I think that's one of the keys to the game here. And then, of course, on offense, if we have Aaron Jones, if he plays, I think this is a totally different dynamic of offensive football for the Packers. If Aaron Jones can't play, Dan Campbell's gonna be probably licking his chops, saying, Jordan Love, come beat me. So that could be a difficult situation for the Packers. So I think a couple things are in the air. I think a lot of it's injury related. Whether we get these guys or not, we won't know until maybe tomorrow, Thursday at the earliest, or at the latest. Sorry, but that can be a factor here of what transpires. Is bringing these guys, having these guys available on Thursday for both teams, but mostly the Packers. So I'm gonna let's see. The Packers, Thursday night at home against the Detroit Lions. Historically, we don't score a ton of points with them. I think I picked 24 last week. I'm gonna go. They win the football game 20 to 18. Packers over Lions. Because why not?
Do you know the points? Do you know the point spread? Say who is expected to win and by what?
It's probably pretty close to. Packers got 3 at home, so it's probably I think it's under 3 somewhere. Maybe 1, 2.
So what side are you giving it to, Tim?
To the Packers. The Packers.
The Packers, Day. No, it's actually for the Lions, Day.
Crepes.
Lions getting 1.5 in this one, Tay.
That's not a lot. That's not a lot.
It's kind of essentially the home team gets 3, give them 1.5, so it's kind of 4.5 for the Lions in that respect. That's what Vegas feels.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Packer win too, Tay. I'm gonna go 24-18 Packers. They do enough. They get it done. I just think having the full complement is going to be a fun thing to watch. I think David Bakhtiari is going to play on Thursday. I really do.
Well, it's after all, it's on grass, Ren, so he's got to be there.
Well, he had the opportunity on Sunday too, Tay, on grass. But remember, you and I sat on a field watching that actual machine from Sweden work all those years ago. So it's grass with some stitched in fake grass.
So he's gonna play half his power.
Right. Maybe that's David's issue. Lambeau's mostly real grass, but there's not enough real grass. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. So we've got Thursday's game is this is the 7th year in a row that the Packers are highlighting the Packers versus Cancer game. So there's some merch out there if you're interested, but they're going to focus on that and give awareness to those who've had it and who are battling cancer. So you might see some stuff around the field about that. Obviously, if you're going to this game and you didn't go to the last one, You need to update your Packers app to display your tickets correctly. Otherwise, you won't get in. So do that, please.
And that is a big PSA to the Milwaukee ticket holders out there today.
Yeah.
This is a Milwaukee ticket holder game. So Milwaukee people, make sure you're listening to the Packer PSA messages out there regarding that.
But that's all I've got on my list. Ren, do you have anything else to say about this before we have a Thursday night football game coming up?
Not really. We were hoping to have a special guest or two on tonight. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. We look forward to that. Maybe getting close to Thanksgiving, and we'll bring that to the table on the universe at that time. Yeah.
We appreciate everyone listening. Thanks for your support. Subscribe if you haven't. Tell a friend. And keep listening.
Until episode 242, Tay, on the Pup Road.
Thank you.